May peace and prosperity find you wherever you are watching this. Welcome, friends. We live in an age where billionaires are racing to build rockets. They tell us that to survive, humanity must become a multiplanetary species. They dream of terraforming Mars, turning a red, dead planet into a green, living home. It is a beautiful dream. But what if I told you that the most advanced terraforming experiment in history isn't happening in space? It's happening right here, right now. There is a place on Earth that was once indistinguishable from the surface of Mars, a place where the sand swallowed cities whole, a place designated by geographers as a sea of death. But over the last 60 years, a group of stubborn humans did the impossible. They didn't just stop the desert, they erased it. They took an area the size of Switzerland, yes, an entire country's worth of sand, and forced it to breathe again. This isn't magic. It is the ultimate story of engineering versus entropy. Today, let's travel to the front lines of the greatest ecological comeback story of our time. The place is called Muas. In the local dialect, it means bad water. But for centuries, the locals knew it as something else, the Time Eater. Imagine waking up in the morning, pushing open your front door, and finding it blocked by a wall of sand. Imagine having to install wheels under your small wooden house, because every time the sand dunes moved, you had to physically drag your home backward just to survive. This was the reality for millions in northern China. This wasn't just bad weather. It was a slow-motion apocalypse. The desert was expanding, marching south toward the Yellow River and eventually threatening Beijing itself. In Las Vegas, humanity fights the desert with air conditioning and imported water. But here, there was no water to import. The United Nations looked at the data and shook their heads. Ecologically speaking, once a desert landscape stabilizes, reversing it is like trying to unburn a match. By all laws of nature, this land was dead. But the people living here possessed a trait that you don't find in data charts: grit. So how do you stop a shifting sand dune that moves like a liquid? You don't use high-tech lasers, not at first. You use physics. Enter the straw checkerboard. It looks primitive, almost like a frantic attempt to weave a basket over the earth. But this is actually a masterpiece of fluid dynamics. Here is the genius behind it. When wind hits a smooth sand dune, it accelerates, picking up sand and carrying it forward. But when Chinese engineers planted these simple grids of wheat straw, 1 meter by 1 meter, they changed the surface roughness. The straw forces the wind to create tiny vortexes. The wind speed drops near the ground. The sand, robbing of its momentum, settles down. It is a cage for the wind. These grids didn't just stop the sand, they created a microclimate. Inside that tiny 1 meter square, shadows formed. Moisture lingered just a few seconds longer, and in that tiny window of opportunity, life began to take root. Thousands of people spanning 3 generations laid these grids by hand, step by step, shovel by shovel. If you laid all these straw barriers in a straight line, they would wrap around the Earth's equator, not once, but dozens of times. It makes the pyramids look like a small weekend project. If straw checkerboards were version 1, what is happening today is version 5. China began to apply the same industrial might it uses to build skyscrapers to build forests. They developed a technique called water jet planting. It looks like a weapon from a video game. An engineer holds a high-pressure water gun. Whoosh! In 10 seconds, the water blasts a hole deep into the sand, liquefying the soil. A willow sapling is inserted instantly. The surrounding sand collapses, sealing the hole and trapping the water at the roots. No digging, no shoveling, 10 seconds per tree. Survival rates jumped from 10% to over 90%. And then came the robots. Today, autonomous rovers, looking like Mars exploration vehicles, crawl across the dunes. They don't look for aliens. They weave straw grids automatically, doing the work of 500 men in a single day. Overhead, satellites monitor the moisture levels of every sector. This is big data applied to Mother Nature. It is the gamification of planetary repair. But here is the question every economist asks. This is expensive. How do you pay for it? Usually, environmental protection is a charity. It burns money. But in China, they turn the desert into a bank. Fly over the Quebec region today and you won't see yellow sand. You will see a dark blue ocean, millions of solar panels. This is solarpunk reality. The logic is brilliant. The panels generate massive amounts of electricity from the harsh desert sun. The panels cast shadows, reducing evaporation by nearly 30%. In that cool shadow, grass begins to grow. And here is the crazy part. They send in thousands of sheep. The sheep eat the grass so it doesn't block the panels, and their manure fertilizes the soil. Sand becomes electricity. Electricity becomes money. The shade becomes pasture. The pasture feeds the livestock. It is a perfect, closed economic loop. Farmers who were once ecological refugees are now energy workers and ranchers. They didn't just reclaim the land, they reclaimed their dignity. The results? NASA satellites confirmed it. Since the year 2000, the world has become 5% greener, and a massive 25% of that new green leaf area comes from China alone. The Muus Desert, that time eater, is roughly 80% gone. It is being erased from the map, replaced by national parks and potato fields. This story isn't just about China. It's a message to the whole human race. We often feel helpless about climate change. We feel like the damage we've done to this planet is irreversible. We look at the burning forests and the melting ice and we feel small. But look at Muus. It reminds us that while humans are capable of great destruction, we are also capable of great healing. We don't need to flee to Mars to find a habitable home. We have the engineering, the wisdom, and the hands to heal the one we are standing on right now. The desert was vast, but the human spirit was stubborn. What do you think? Is this model of solar control replicable in the Sahara or the deserts of Nevada? Or is this unique to China's geography? I'd love to read your insights in the comments below. May your days be as bright as the desert sun and as full of life as a new forest. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that explore the limits of our world. See you next time.